everyone. We welcome you at our podcast. You don't know about it, but we're welcoming you for the third time. um, yeah, lots of technical issues. I don't know why the universe doesn't want us to, like get done with this podcast, let our voices be heard, but we're gonna make sure of it today and now. Yeah, anyways, my name is Ibrahim and I'm here with my bestie Dana. And yeah, today we're gonna talk about several things. Since it's our first episode, we're not gonna go deep into like certain topics, but anyways, this is just for you guys to get to know us. And we also have some questions from like our friends and acquaintances they've left for us, mainly for Dana actually, because she has such a successful, amazing life.
Oh no.
No, but really, we're gonna talk about it later. But we want to make this podcast as easygoing as possible, and like for you to feel related to something actually.
And
So
informative.
yeah, and informative. Yeah, yeah, that's true. Well, I think we can start with a quick round of self introduction. So yeah, Dana, can you please tell us who are you deep
Mhm.
inside?
Deep inside, I lost. No, actually, everything is okay. I'm just joking. Basically, firstly, I want to start with saying that I've known Aigirim for half of my life. We studied together at the same school in Karaganda. Then I was studying my undergraduate degree at Nazarbayev University. I studied mechanical engineering. Uh, After that, I applied to University of Warwick and studied there the engineering business management. And
Mhm.
now I
Can
work
sorry,
as an
can you
yeah
quickly tell everyone where the University of Warwick is located? Because I think some people may not know.
England.
Okay, great, great.
Yeah, right. Actually, yeah, it's it's good to mention. It just
Mhm.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
find it funny because of the all the British jokes.
Yeah, yeah. But we're gonna go back to the British jokes. But yeah, anyways, sorry for interrupting. Yeah, you may go on.
No, it's totally fine. Yeah, and currently I work as an ESG consultant at Big Four. So basically, that's it. I can also talk about my hobbies. I've been going, I think, to Aikido classes for the past 1.5 years, and I also very passionate about music, and I'm learning to play the guitar by myself and YouTube.
Great. But you also done some courses on music theory, right? If I'm not mistaken.
It's not finished yet, but I'm working on it. But I finished the course on the Coursera about introduction to classical music.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. That's so. At least you're doing something. Because I would say, yeah, I'm also interested in classical music, but I never actually learned about the theory or maybe history. The history is quite important because that helps you understand the stories behind music and the lives of the composers. But yeah,
Mhm.
I just never really got into it. Anyways, okay, thank you so much for this amazing intro. And I guess that makes me the next one to go. As Dana said, we studied together at school. But after that, like each of us went in their own directions. But even though, as you can see, we still keep in touch, and I think that's amazing. After school, I studied at a local university, and my major was like international relations. After that, I graduated and got into university in Italy and studied international security studies. For those who don't know, like what the F these majors are, these are mainly about like international politics. Sometimes it's about culture, history, international economics, and all of this stuff. And yeah, it might seem interesting for some of you, but really it's just it makes you depressed on a different level, like because you start understanding like how messed up the world is, and that you can't really do anything about it. But anyways, I love what I'm doing. I've been teaching English for like around 6 to 7 years. And as for hobbies, though, I used to play piano, but I kind of gave up on that. Sometimes I pick it up, sometimes I don't. So yeah, I go to gym sometimes. So trying to stay like physically fit. I don't know why, but this specific phrase makes me remember what was the name? King Julian. Physically fit, physically fit, physically, physically, physically fit. Now we're gonna move on to the next thing that we wanted to talk about, like really talk about, is why we're doing this podcast at all. And I would want to ask Dana to get onto that first.
Yeah, sure. So basically, we have this idea that, as you can, maybe you noticed already that, especially in Kazakhstan media space, maybe it's also like relevant for other media spaces as well. We're getting more and more experts, like in different fields, who want to teach you how to live your life, who want to like say that some things are wrong and some things are the only way to do it right,
Mm-hmm.
without any expertise, of course. It's getting a bit destructive. Their opinions might harm, actually, I think, some
Sure.
people. And the thing is that people never question their opinion. They never question like how they will impact. They think that they're right. Most of people like us who actually get like good education. I know it, it sounds like a shade, but uh,
Yeah.
I
Good
mean, the,
education at the UK.
there are lots of people who have something to say, but we
Mhm,
prefer to stay silent because no one is forcing us to say, so we're not saying. So basically,
mhm,
we're just left with our opinion. But I think it's important to take media space to make like more proportionate and make it more diverse, so you get
mhm,
different kinds of ideas. There might be some neutral people who doesn't have the opinion yet about specific topics. In that case, they have to know that there is something else so that they can
mhm.
make up their mind. You are extrovert a bit. I'm not really at all.
Yeah, I'm somewhere in the middle. Like I'm not a full
Yes.
extrovert either,
Yeah,
but
but
yeah.
you have at least something. And even though we think that we can like contribute to it a little bit, we're not saying that like our role is crucial and so on, but it is
Mhm,
something. And we also encourage everyone to like speak up, to talk about your opinion, different opinions, and we think that it might be beneficial because even though you wouldn't have like the crazy audience, we also don't have crazy audience like lots of people. We just have
two
our
people
friends
are
as an
watching it like
audience.
me, like.
Yeah, we just have our friends, and not all of them are going to listen to this because we all are
Mhm,
busy and so on. But still, it's important, even for your friends, for your relatives. Maybe they don't know the stuff that you know. So talk about it, speak up, take the media space.
mhm. Oh, that was such a great message. Yeah. Where can I sign up? Where are the courses?
And also, I think we wanted to talk about what are we going to like discuss in this podcast.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's true. That's true. Yeah, so I'm gonna quickly continue what Dana said basically. Yeah, I am fully on board with that. And actually, this idea to have a podcast came to me a very long time ago. But yeah, as Dana said, sometimes we feel so shy. You just don't know how to start it, but you just need to do it. Because you see a lot of this. incompetent people. I don't want to throw such a shade and say like, oh, if you don't have your education you can't do this or that, but
Yeah.
really it depends on the topics that you're discussing, the courses you're selling, right, the ideas you're preaching, because you really cannot do that, because it is immoral to preach some idea and ideology and like basically ruin people's lives. We're going to talk more on that aspect and specific cases when it happened actually, but like not today, because we don't want like this, you know, mental overload or whatever. We're not really gonna talk about things where we don't we're not sure on like about it 100%, right?
And also, it's not about studying abroad or getting some
Yes. Successful
successful
success.
job. Because I also think that we have experience, but it's so like
Mhm.
not the unique, but not relevant for everyone. So
Yeah.
that's why it's not the like the key
Mhm.
focus.
Yeah, I think my experience mostly has nothing to do with the things that I know and with the ideas that I believe in. Yeah, I don't think that we're gonna like focus on that too much unless someone expresses interest in that specific area, and maybe we can like full on talk
Yeah.
about our own journeys, but it doesn't mean it's gonna be your experience too.
Yeah, so it's not like we applied for 50 universities and we
Yeah.
wrote more than 50 motivation letters and we're experts in it. We wrote
Yeah.
one motivation letter.
Customize it to 3 unis at max
Yeah.
and then send it out. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But anyways, some people express their interest in studying at NU, Nazarbayev University in Astana. So yeah, maybe you can share your own experience, like how you got in there. Was the reality matching up to the expectations you had before entering the university?
I would be very brief about the admission process because I know that for the last 8 years it has changed a lot. So basically, what I think is important is to know your subject. What are you going to pass? I was, for example, studying physics and mathematics. Uh, i- it's important to like know this school program well, and also to know it in English, so you get like
Mm,
familiar with some of the terminology. Now I remember that I couldn't really solve one problem because I didn't know what torque is, and I also didn't have like it in my vocabulary. No, dictionary with me. So that's why it is very important. And also, so the mainly the stuff that stays is to know your subject well, to know it in English a bit. If you are not studying it in school in English, so it's better to get familiar with some of the terms, and to start get prepared for the IELTS, because I think it always would be important. You can get any IELTS courses now. Basically, lots of competent people teach have these courses. So just get
mhm,
prepared, and I think you will succeed. Yeah, and in terms of expectations, I think usually you expect a lot because it is like very unique university, especially for Kazakhstan. It has different uh, education program. Like
mhm,
we are getting taught in with British program or American program, which is totally different from the most of the universities. But the thing is, there might be some professors might not be the great teachers. Like they
mhm.
might explain it not really well, but uh, it also like teaches you to self
Like self-study skills.
yeah, self-study skills. Don't expect too much, but there are lots of good professors. You can even, if you're interested in career in academics, I think you can do research there. They have lots of good facilities, labs, and so on.
Mhm,
And also, yeah, in terms of facilities, we always had everything. We had grocery stores, We had canteens. We
Mm-hmm.
also had lots of spaces to study in the library and other areas. So, in terms of facilities, it was very good. Another important thing is, I think, the community, because most of the students who apply there, they're very motivated, aspired, they're very smart, and you can get lots of people who think maybe the same way as you. You can achieve a lot when you have like this kind of like thriving environment.
Mm,
So basically, so
yeah,
that's why I
great.
think that it's a good idea to apply there.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of how different it is from other Kazakhstani universities, yeah, I remember you said that ranked on the top like universities of the world, right?
Yeah,
So,
recently we got the ranking. We before we didn't have any accreditation, or uh, we were not listed anywhere. And
mhm,
now, like, I think they're listed as top 500 or 600, between that range.
mhm.
So
Great, great. So, does it make it the best university in Kazakhstan at the moment?
I think it is. Yeah, it does.
Uh-huh. Okay, okay, great. So yeah, if you're studying at NU or applying to study at NU, yeah, you're applying to the best of the best, I guess.
But don't get your expectations too high. It is not perfect, but it's good, I think.
But yeah, someone also asked about studying in Turkey too. Yeah, because also it's a popular destination for students from Kazakhstan specifically, right? A lot of people go to Turkey. They used to go to Hungary. What else? Like
Mhm.
Poland, I think, and Italy. Like I think, and England
Czech
too. Yeah,
Republic,
Czech Republic. Yeah, I think these are the most popular places where students from Kazakhstan go to pursue their studies, basically.
America, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah, the US too. But I don't know, like if you don't have any financial support, right? I think it
Ah,
would be
yeah.
quite expensive to go to the US. Because at least if you go to Turkey and even without a scholarship, it's not gonna be like too crazy in terms of your expenditure. But I mean, I studied in Turkey only for one semester, so of course it cannot account to the same experience of those who studied there for like 4 or 5 years. I have a couple of friends who studied there like for their whole undergraduate
Yes.
programs, yeah, or studies, yeah, English teacher.
It's fine.
Yeah. But anyways, it was a really fun experience, and I actually got to study at one of the like most renowned universities in Turkey. It was Anadolu University, and it's also like ranked at the top something universities in the world. So yeah, it has accreditation, and the professors were great and everything. But it was like 5 years ago, so yeah, also quite an outdated experience, but I would say that studying in Turkey is fun. Not sure about the political situation or the, what was that? Like they had some natural disasters. How do you say
Hmm.
that?
Hmm.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a safety hazard. There is a certain risk. I mean, I wouldn't say you're safe like
Everywhere.
anywhere, but yeah, yeah, people still live there and they study there, and they they enjoy it a lot, especially if you are studying at one of the top universities of Turkey. I think you will find the professors very capable, like the professors that I've studied with, they pursued their education in the US or the UK or other European states. And they weren't like no name universities, they were like also like some of the best unis. So yeah, if you choose to go to Turkey and study there in English or in Turkish, right, whatever floats your boat, you will get to actually meet some great professors. And I would say their education system is like also close to the European model. So Yeah, nothing similar to the local Kazakhstani universities. Maybe something similar to NU. I would highly recommend it. Definitely explore that direction if you're considering that. Anyways, going back to the language aspect, yeah, your professor. So, what can you say about that? Because at NU you have professors all over the world, right? And how was it for you as an undergraduate student who was studying subjects in English for the first time from a foreigner, right? How
Mhm.
easy or difficult was it to get used to maybe their accents or English in general?
As far as I remember, during the foundation year, we had mostly native like speakers, uh,
Mm,
English professors, maybe American. So, uh, but the thing is, um, most of them they realize that uh, this is not our first language. That's why they tend to speak slowly, and they tend to
mhm,
like uh, explain it in more detail, maybe in case if you don't understand.
mhm,
So in that terms, I wouldn't say I like struggled, but as I said before, I studied mechanical engineering. When I when I finished the foundation year program and started my like bachelor's degree, the professors has changed. Sometimes it was a bit of a struggle. Uh, most of our professors, some of them were French, some of them were
mm,
from Bangladesh, Pakistan, and maybe India. But I wouldn't
mm,
say this uh, accent was difficult. They actually have like clear uh, like pronunciation of the words,
mhm.
similar to Russian, but you get the idea. I mean,
Uh-huh.
the Russian they always have the clear words. The
Mm,
same goes with
okay.
them. Yeah.
Mhm,
So this accent, like, mm, i- it was strong, but it was understandable. I would
mhm.
say that maybe with French it was a bit more struggling than with
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah, it takes some time to get used to that one. Yeah, I see. Okay, cool. So you're basically accents expert in the sense that you can clearly understand them, right, without any struggle. This is actually a great skill because we once did a webinar on accents and culture, you know. Yeah, I spoke about the fact that the more you listen, right, and the more accents you learn to recognize and understand, the more accents in the future you'll be able to understand. So basically, for example, if you
Mm,
actually never heard a Thai person speak to you, right, in their accent, but you've listened to a lot of Chinese, maybe Indian speakers, right, in English, right? It's a skill, like it's a listening comprehension skill. After some time, you'll be able to even understand a Thai person when you first encounter them. So I find it really fascinating how our brain makes these connections and makes life easier for us even though we haven't been prepared for that specific scenario,
mhm.
right? Yeah, I actually kind of like Indian accent now. Before I used to, yeah, be not a big fan of that, but after some time, it just, I don't know, sounds so fun, endearing too at the same time because you hear a
Mhm.
lot of personality in that.
Yeah, and their YouTube videos saved our lives.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
Engineering souls.
True. But you also previously talked about the British accent, but not of the adult British people, right? But
Mm.
the younger ones. So, because you lived like at an apartment which was rented out to you by a family, right? And they had kids.
Uh,
So,
yeah, we were living in a house, and at the first floor, my landlord with his family were living, and we were on the second floor.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he invited us for the lunch, like
Mm-hmm.
to get to know us better and so on. Yeah, and I get the chance to talk to his kids and
Mm-hmm.
small kids with British accent. Be prepared to understand nothing. Yeah, but it's very cute. The small
Mm-hmm.
British accent.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so yeah, guys, take some notes if you're preparing for the IELTS exam. Like what you're hearing is not the most difficult thing. Just try to listen to kids, right? And understand what they're saying.
Yeah, and I also think that in England the accent like problem is not really an issue compared to Scotland. So thank God I wasn't in Scotland.
Or Glaswegian.
Yeah,
Um, yeah,
I
I
haven't
never.
heard this, but
Yeah.
I, I haven't heard the accent itself, but I
Ah,
heard all lots of stories about it.
yeah, yeah. It's funny because I really wanted to go to Scotland to like
Mm,
for my studies, and
yeah.
I even applied to a program there to the University of Glasgow. I don't know why. I just really wanted to go there, I guess, but I never thought that I would have to, listen to a lot of Glaswegian speech and like actually be able to understand that because Scottish accent is hard on its own, but Glaswegian, like specifically in Glasgow, it's even
Mm.
more like I don't know how to explain it. It's so intense. It just doesn't sound like they're speaking English. Yeah. I remember there was one girl. I will attach the clip. Yeah, if I find it. But she was an American girl, just like somewhere in Glasgow, doing some interviews on the streets, and she was like, actually, this accent is so cool. I just like really want to see like how people talk here. People say that it's really difficult to understand, but like we'll test it out. And she like comes out to a man, asks this question, he says something, and she's like, huh?
The Scottish accent is famous for being difficult to understand, but the Glaswegian accent can be even more difficult. There are words and phrases in Glasgow that sound a bit like a foreign language even, so I'm on a mission to find some people to help me translate. Okay, so I love the Glaswegian accent, and I was wondering if you could teach me some local phrases.
Well, it's very hard to bring them to mind. This is the thing. It's all right when your eyes are not going and happy as eyes. You understand?
She wasn't
Yeah.
prepared for that.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, but I feel like this is my life goal to be able to understand the Scots because I think if you understand the Scots, like that's the final level, that's the final boss. There is nothing beyond that in terms of English accents. Accents, yeah, are one topic, but what did you find interesting about the language itself? Like how differently people in England speak compared to like more like general English, I guess.
Ah, I see. Yeah, they tend to get. Well, no, they don't tend. They usually more polite. They have lots of
Mhm.
like phrases like "my love," "thank you, my love," although you are not his their love. uh, they also when they speak to you, they speak very politely, like "could you please" or
Mm,
something like this.
mhm,
And I haven't encountered this before, so I wasn't expecting that they
mhm.
have different British accents as well, depending on the region you
Yeah.
live.
Mhm.
So, for the first time, I heard the word schedule.
Schedule. Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, schedule. This was
Yeah.
the first time. And also, uh, s- one accent has this like R's at the end of the words, like idea
Uh,
or something like this.
India, yeah.
That was also new to me. So yeah,
Mm.
pretty interesting.
What about Birmingham, by the way? You went there, right? What
It was
was the
just
way people speak different?
I was just at the city center looking for the. I was like going for the shops, for the mall,
Mm,
and that's it. So I
I
can't really
see.
tell.
Okay, because yeah, I also hear that they have their own like specific accent too. Um, yeah, but that would be interesting. And can you tell us just I just don't think that many people know about that the specific one, my love. Like in what context would they use that?
Basically, any context. For example, if you are buying some milk, and then the lady that helps you with the payment and so on, she says, "Thank you, my love. Like, see you later," or something.
So yeah, if you feel like you're unloved, you're like looking for more words of endearment, right? Just go to England. You're gonna get plenty of that.
The other
Mhm.
thing is, I remember that when I crossed the road, any car would stop, even though maybe there might
Oh,
be inappropriate, like the place for me to cross the road, but they still would
uh-huh.
make me go.
Oh, that's super nice. Super nice. I was just thinking about this one thing. It slipped my mind. Oh my God, what was I leading to? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. The specific. So basically, what I want to talk about is even some of the language they use can be different depending on the region and the country. Because I
Mhm.
remember this one time where an American was talking about their experience in the UK, and they were like, so British people say "you're right" as like "how are you," like "how you're doing," right?
Ah, yeah.
But yeah, for Americans, it's like "you're right," like it's the same as what's wrong with you. And they're like, why are you asking me that question? That's super weird. Like, is there something wrong with me? Do I look not all right?
Mm.
So yeah, it's just so funny how they're speaking the same language, but because it's such a different dialect and its own thing, there still might be some sort of a miscommunication.
But implying different like emotions
Yeah.
too.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, and it's just English. English is like mostly it's like very similar. No matter what dialect you're speaking, you're gonna understand each other. Arabic, though, oh my God. If you're from Egypt and you're speaking to someone, I don't know, I guess from Saudi Arabia, I don't really remember well, but their dialects are so different. The Moroccan Arabic, the Saudi Arabic is like Fusha. It's like the standard Arabic. It's also kind of a political topic, actually. We
Mm.
can discuss it one other time. Some people were also interested in your experience working for before, like Big Four. What can you tell us about that?
What can I tell you?
Yeah, like how did you get into this company and why did you even like choose it in the first place? How was it related to your academic background?
Hmm. Uh, yeah, as I said before, I applied as an ESG consultant. So basically, uh, actually, my application was totally different from people who are applying to the general consulting, because
Mm,
people who apply to general consulting, they have to know, I think, a bit more about finances. They also have to
mm,
know this business stuff and solve the cases. I
mhm,
haven't solved any case at all, but what I had was my master thesis was about eco home design. And
mhm.
during my final years at the undergraduate studies, we were uh, writing the paper about impact of the global warming on the wind power production, basically in Kazakhstan.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I had this like specific knowledge related to sustainability, now, which I think mostly like helped me to get here, because um, when I just was applying here, the team was very small. Like they had 3 people, and all of them had financial background, and they were looking for someone who is like more of a different, like technical background maybe. So
Mhm.
basically, it also it aligned that they were looking for and what I have. That was basically it. And I also like did this entry tests and interviews and stuff. So
Mhm.
what I want to say is that if you want to apply to Big Four, your application would be totally different. I mean,
Mhm.
you also would have interviews in these tests, but you would also have case study or
Mhm.
maybe just solving the case, and your interview might differ. They might ask you completely different things. They were asking about my research mostly.
Mhm.
And I think maybe I can talk about some experience here.
Sure. Mhm. Yeah,
Uh,
like also expectations and reality, maybe. If you like had any expectations at all, because
mhm. Yeah,
yeah.
it was sudden. Like I knew that they
Mhm.
were looking for the ESG consultant. Then I applied
Mhm.
here. But before
Mhm.
that, I never like, considered the Big Four because it was always associated with something financial, with something like
Mhm.
social studies, and I was not really related to that. uh, I
Mhm.
always thought that I would work as an engineer, honestly. Yeah, so, uh, but here it's like the continuation of your studies. You basically do the
Mhm.
research, you do the presentations, slides, and so on. We do lots of research because, especially in ESG, since it's a new like direction, new topic,
Mm.
there are lots of new standards, lots of new changes. So basically,
Mhm.
it's like studying at the university but getting paid.
Mm. Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah. Some people apply for their PhD programs, but I think that this might sound much better than doing an actual PhD.
Yeah, and
'Cause-
also
yeah.
it's like there are diversity of projects here. You can work on
Mm.
different projects, and it's not like you're working on one study for the 5 years. That's
Mhm.
why,
Yeah. Yeah. True. True. That's a fair
yeah.
point. And you get to go on work trips, right? Like business trips.
Sometimes it's not often,
Mhm.
especially in this company. I don't know, but maybe
Mm.
again, it depends on the nature of your like work. I think
Mhm.
the assurance team, we're advisory team. The assurance team, I
Mhm.
think they go to the trips quite often. So
Mm. I see. That's
depends on the project. Depends on the
Mhm.
budget of this project. Would they like have the money to like uh, go wait,
Mhm.
pay for your travel?
Mhm. Okay, I see. I'm highly incompetent in corporate world, so for me, it's yeah. These are lots of things. I mean, I was a part of this like corporate world, like
Mm-hmm.
office job for a very short period in my life, but I feel like that now I'm used to like working independently like so much that for me it's kind of difficult to imagine going back to this corporate world.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know whether I will be a part of this environment once again, but still working independently or in collaboration with other people is, yeah, it's different from office
Mm-hmm.
lifestyle. You actually had to move from your like hometown to Almaty to work there, right? And yeah, as a person who's lived in multiple different cities and countries, how would you say life in a different place affects you, your life, your lifestyle, or maybe who you are? Or does it affect you at all?
Mm, I would say that people certainly affect you. Well, maybe it's
Mm-hmm.
not like an active choice to be like them, but over time get some habits from them. You get some like small things, and
Mhm.
I think depending on where you live, people might be different. Like,
Mhm.
uh, um, but not totally different. Just again, it's just small things that makes the difference. Because, for example, at university, I was surrounded by NU students. Now I'm just surrounded with QMEP students. No,
Uh,
graduates, I mean. Uh,
yeah.
the in terms of like education, they also have like the great university, right? And
Mhm.
we are similar, but some mm, some not really important things might be different. Maybe in terms of language, it might be different. I think that here, uh, since we were studying at Kazakh school, and we tend to speak Kazakh a lot,
Mhm.
and we had like, even though we were speaking Russian in our families, but I think we still have this Kazakh language habits, maybe, or
Mhm.
some words.
Uh-huh.
Here in Almaty, maybe it's a bit not so visible. I mean,
Mm.
you can just know Russian, and it, you'll be totally fine here. You don't need
Mm.
Kazakh language.
Mhm.
Uh, I think I was speaking Kazakh more in other cities than here, probably. But maybe
Okay.
it's just the working environment. I don't know. But
Mm.
uh, even the words are getting a bit more uh, on a Russian uh,
Like
mood.
Russianized, you mean,
Yes,
in terms of
uh,
pronunciation, right?
yes, because we have this main street. It is in Kazakh. It is called Al Farabi. Al
Mm-hmm.
Farabi. At the you put the emphasis on the last what
A
do you call
syllable.
it? Yes, and here it's Al Farabi.
Yeah, changing the
Maybe
stress.
it's,
Mhm.
but I noticed that it's getting more, maybe more comfortable to say Al Farabi than Al Farabi during the sentence. It's easier to say.
Mhm. Yeah, when people keep saying things, you just kind of give into that sometimes, and
Mm,
you start accepting it as a norm. It can be like a cognitive dissonance, right? So remember, like how they explain it. For example, you know that to a certain question, the answer is B, right? But everyone in the same room with you is voting A, so you're like, okay, am I the one who
yeah,
is
yeah,
wrong? Okay, let me also say A, right? But that's the wrong answer. So yeah, I totally get it. That's what happened to me in Italy with my professors. They spoke English really well, but with their own accents too. But there were some professors with a very thick Italian accent, and they would even change the pronunciation of the word completely. And I was always like, after they repeat the same word several times with the wrong pronunciation, I was like, okay, like what was the original, yeah, pronunciation of this
yeah.
word, the correct one? Like the one from Naples was saying deterrence all the time, and that's the word deterrence. And the other one was he had a very nice English, like his pronunciation was really nice, much better than the Naples professor, but just one word was very odd in his pronunciation. It was not anxiety, but anxiety. And yeah, imagine you're also an international student, right? And you just started studying English and you got it to a certain point where you can understand the classes and communicate. And then someone messes with the correct
Yeah.
pronunciation that you learn. You're like, am I the one in the wrong? What is happening? Yeah.
It also works with the new words that you didn't know. I
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I remember the word determine. Some
Uh-huh.
professors were saying determined, some were determined, so you don't know
The-
really how to say it correctly.
Yeah, that's true, true. I love these things about pronunciation. That's what we've been studying currently with some of my students, and they also laugh at this kind of cases. But then when they become super conscious of their pronunciations, they're like, okay, like I actually never thought about it, but if you think more about it, the sound production can be so difficult. I mean, yesterday we were practicing how to say it, right? As in like he, she, it, and
Mhm,
then the word eat, like eating food, right?
mhm.
And then my student became like super conscious of the sounds she makes. Like, wait, how is it and eat, or is it like differently? Like, how is it? How does it sound? So it has a lot to do with your native tongue and how you translate the sounds and rationalize them in your head, because in Kazakh or Russian, we don't have the short E and the long E sounds. It's all just E, right?
But
Yeah.
we have
So,
in Kazakh.
yeah, we have
So
in Kazakh, but it's still like, it's not uh,
it's like
it's like it's not
it.
like it.
It.
It's not it. It's it. It's still like
Ah.
but it's short. So, yeah, lots of different sounds actually. And I feel like it's because in English, the concept of letters, right, in the alphabet and sounds are separate. Like you cannot think
Mm.
that when you see a certain letter, it's gonna sound like this.
Mhm, mhm,
Like it happens with Kazakh, right? With Kazakh, it's like more straightforward. You read whatever is in front of you. There are small things that you need to take into consideration, but anyways, it's simpler than that. So yeah, you like have to just I don't know, disassemble your brain and then put it back again, basically.
mhm.
So yeah, it can be quite challenging. You said that in Almaty people tend to speak Russian more, right? So I feel like yeah, in Astana a lot of people speak Kazakh. Um, is that true for you as a person who's lived in Astana for 5 years?
Correction, I didn't live in Astana. I lived in a new campus.
To
But
be fair, yeah.
uh, I'm saying this because we didn't really go outside a lot, sadly. And I was,
Incubator.
yeah, you have practically everything you need there.
Mm,
And you go outside just like for some leisure time.
mm,
Mm, but I heard that lots of people from southern regions come to Astana to work
mhm,
for work. And our
mhm,
southern region tend to speak more Kazakh, so maybe
mhm.
that's how it works. But Almaty is also the southern region, but
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
creating this
its
dissonance.
own thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and they always, I think they always separate themselves, uh, like they're totally
We're
different.
the yeah, like I'm a true. Uh,
Yeah,
how do you Almatyan, and how do you say it like in English? I'm not sure which suffix to attach. Like I'm a person who was like born and raised in Almaty, right? This
and
kind of.
so did my generations.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. I actually never saw that side of Almaty because last time I actually been to Almaty was like when I was 12 or something. Like when I was a kid, I used to go to Almaty every summer. But then at some point we stopped and I don't know, I just didn't have any reason to go there, I guess. Maybe I will in the future, but who knows? But anyways, yeah, it's interesting. I never got to know that side of it, but mm, probably it can be unpleasant in some cases. I can see that happening. But because in Karaganda, people still tend to speak more Russian. And
Mm.
I remember some people were even shocked to know that I actually speak Kazakh and that my family mostly like communicates in Kazakh. And they were like, "Oh, like because in Karaganda a lot of people
Mm.
speak like Russian on daily basis, so I wasn't expecting you guys to
Mm.
actually speak Kazakh." And I was like, "Why wouldn't we?" And yeah, when you go to Astana, like a lot of people speak Kazakh, especially like in service industry.
Mm.
Now we don't have the conductors in the buses, but I remember like 10
Mm.
years ago, maybe when I went to Astana, the conductors were like speaking perfect Kazakh. And for me, it was a cultural shock because here the conductors speak only Russian. You were going to say something, right?
About Almaty again.
Mm-hmm.
uh, you said that you were here as a child, but
Mm-hmm.
and you were here quite often. But it's contrary for me. I've never been here like properly. Maybe just a few
Mm-hmm.
times, and I don't remember anything about this city. And also, I wouldn't say I have encountered this like arrogant Almaty citizens saying that
Mm,
we live here through generations. Luckily, but
okay.
but I also think that there might be rare here.
I
So
feel like that's true,
yeah,
yeah.
but what I hear a lot is most of uh, people who live here, they tend to say that Almaty is the best city in the world. It was firstly a bit unpleasant because I like
Mm,
the Astana as well. It's like
mhm,
the first place where I lived independently, maybe I would say
mm,
so. So
mhm.
it's dear to me, and they're saying that Astana doesn't have any soul. Astana is just fake. Everything is just. It's beautiful outside, but
Artificial,
nothing inside.
yeah, yeah.
And I didn't like Almaty at first. I like the weather.
Mm-hmm.
It's warm here, but over time you just get used to it, and it's really nice place, really nice place. But uh, at some places it's very old. At some
Mm-hmm.
places it's just dark. It doesn't have
Oh,
any proper
yeah.
lightings, so I wouldn't say it's the best city. It definitely has lots of advantages. I really like here, and thinking I'm thinking of staying here,
Mm-hmm.
but I wouldn't be so arrogant about it.
Oh, I see. I feel like this arrogant type of people are mostly maybe on the internet because I've never met them in real life. Yeah, a lot of people I've met or even worked with that were like originally from Almaty, they were actually super nice and like very open-minded and outgoing. I think that's
Hmm.
a really great, yeah, trait. But yeah, there are certainly people like that, angry people, arrogant people. But I
Yeah,
guess they're everywhere. Yeah,
yeah,
it's
true.
like the snobs, like Parisian snobs. We just have like fun with the snobs sometimes on the internet.
Yeah.
Um, so cool that you're saying that. You're being 100% honest here, saying that no, it's like not the heaven on earth, right? But you're still like considering like actually settling down in the city. Sometimes it's unrealistic to think that you will be able to find your perfect place to live, right? Yeah, it just comes down to
It shouldn't
yeah.
be for the rest of your life, but for the
Mm-hmm.
first couple of years, why not? Then you will
Yeah,
see.
yeah.
It might
You never
change a
know.
lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
True, true. What else do we have like before we finish?
We talked about work, studying. Maybe uh, you have something to say about studying in Italy?
Yeah, although it was quite short too. I mean, I initially planned my studies for 2 years, but because of the panini, I had to, stay the first year offline, online at home, and only on the second year I could go actually study in campus. Those 9 months were nice in Italy. They were quite intense because I also had to like work part time to, to put bread on my table. And actually, this master's program changed a lot of my priorities, I guess, in life, because before that I was so focused on getting like straight A's or at least like a B plus, like doing the best I could during my undergraduate program. But then, I just realized, well, yeah, I did my best during my undergrad studies so that I could get into a graduate program with the best chances, right, to get the scholarship and etc., and even a spot on the program. But then I just like got a bit lazy, I guess. I don't want to say lazy because I was really prioritizing some things. I was like, okay, this course, I don't think that this course specifically is going to affect my life like vastly. This is just the thing that would be fun to know, and whatever is the grade, as long as I'm passing and getting a satisfactory grade, for me that's enough. I don't need to like just really put all the effort in it if it's not gonna show the actual changes in my life and give me valuable knowledge that I can apply to my future job. Some courses, yeah, I really put in a lot of effort to get an A, get a B, but for some, I was like, okay, like I can just put it aside and focus on other things like my job, because yeah, it was taking a lot of time. It was difficult to balance everything because there were some days when I slept only like for 3 hours or 2 hours. And yes, especially when you're trying to keep up with all the social activities too, right? Because there are people you need to socialize, especially after the
Yeah.
lockdowns and everything. You just really need it. So it was definitely a big challenge, but I'm glad that I set my priorities straight and did what I did. But yeah, any final thoughts?
Uh, I would say that I hope you find our opinions or ideas interesting. We will
Mm,
definitely talk about lots of, I think, informative topics and stuff later on. So
yeah.
keep
Mhm,
in
mhm.
touch.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Don't forget to like
Yeah,
comment
post them.
about your opinions. Yeah. Yeah, because we want you to express your opinions too on the things that we quickly touched during today's episode. So we would want you to continue the conversation and maybe even ask more questions so we know in which direction to go next time. So, yeah, I guess that's a wrap. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Before we finish, Dana, can you please tell everyone where can people find you on social media?
Uh, I think Instagram you can find me, Turgali Dana, just without
Hmm.
anything.
Okay, okay, great. She has the OG, yeah,
Yeah,
Instagram
it's
nickname.
it's the username that was given me by Instagram.
Wow, wow, that's great. I never got to get that because my family name and my first name are so common. You just can't. You just can't. But yeah, anyways, you can find me on aya.english. Stay tuned and we'll see you again next time. Bye bye.